Welcome back to another edition of the Daily Vlog. My name is Dr. David Duizer. I'm a naturopathic doctor focused on the holistic approach to chronic disease management. If you're interested in holistic health and wellness videos, please subscribe to my channel. We'll be doing more like this one. Thanks for tuning in. Today on the show, we are talking about carb loading. You're probably familiar with carb loading because when we were all young, it was all the rage for athletes. You had to have pasta before exercise. That was the way you fueled up to expend energy on the field or on the court. And I've got extensive experience with this because I played university basketball and we carb loaded and we did it big time. And I wasn't for it, but I did it anyway because I just loved carbs. I was absolutely down for pasta. That was my thing. And today on the vlog, I simply want to share with you how to make it work if you're an athlete and if you should be using it for exercise as a non-athlete. So let's talk about my experience a bit. I played university basketball and I played for a very well-funded team, and we had food provided to us in the form of pre-practice and pre-game meals and mid-game snacks and post-game snacks. And what was given to us was a little bit of option, but the carb loading aspect was promoted. And at the time, it was probably the general recommendation for most athletes, but the specifics were not given. And I think that the important part of this whole process, really, for athletes specifically, is the details, getting down to how much of one nutrient you should be consuming and when. And I've been really passionate with that recently because I'm working with a few athletes here in the clinic to try to help them optimize their sport and their recovery. And having enough carbs on board, or the appropriate amount of carbs and the right type of carbs, is actually really, really important for athletes. So I'm into it. I'm not a keto athlete type guy. I don't know that that is the right choice, but I do know that healthy carbohydrate consumption can be very helpful. So here's what I believe at the current state, and this is based on my training in exercise physiology and sport recovery and sport performance, and using nutrition therapies to facilitate those aspects of an athletic experience. So basically, what I believe is that for an athlete, when they're competing at a high level, there should probably be half to 2/3 of a gram per kg. So if you weigh, say, for example, 80 kgs, you should probably have 40 to 60 kgs of carbohydrate 2 to 3 hours before an event where you need to perform. And that's not much. So if you look at like a thick slice of toast, that can be 40 grams of carbs. And the way that we were practicing it back when I was performing at a high level is 2 to 3 hours before a game, we would have like a massive bowl of pasta. This may have been like 200 grams of carbohydrates. And that was considered carb loading and considered appropriate for athletes at the time. And I remember feeling very heavy. I remember feeling extremely sluggish on the court. I didn't correlate to diet because I wasn't a very smart person at the time, and I didn't really know about what I was doing nutritionally for my sport. I noticed that I never had the type of burst capacity, the type of energy capacity that I wanted, even though I trained hard and my endurance was excellent. I never had the short-term capacity, the short-term muscular strength, the short-term anaerobic performance, the ability to move extremely quickly over and over through the course of an event. I was playing basketball, which that's the most important thing, is running and jumping in short bursts. So I never really experienced that. I never really considered that diet would be a factor influencing that. So we were doing these heavy bowls of pasta. We'd have big rice dishes or we'd have big potato dishes or whatever it was. We were carb loading 2 to 3 hours. If we had have chosen 1/2 to 2/3 of a gram per kg of body weight of carbs to do, maybe that would be better. And if that works, also having a similar amount, but maybe 1/2 gram per kg body weight of liquid carbs right before the event would probably be appropriate as well. And that's really important for really long events. Like if your event is 2-3 hours long, then you want to consider that liquid carb right before the event for a high performance athlete. And that can come in the form of just a simple fruit juice. you're going to burn it off very, very quickly. So the negative effects of high insulin are different from a previous video where I mentioned that we should be avoiding fruit juices. For athletes, it's completely different because you're going to get out there and you're going to burn it off right away. So that's important. The second thing that we were doing in my career is we would have protein bars provided to us for halftime and for post-game recovery. And these protein bars, they were whey bars, which I'm not that into whey protein, but they were chocolate, right? And they had like high carb too. So they had lots of protein, but they also had high carb. So we were loading up on chocolate at halftime that had a lot of protein, which protein can be difficult to digest. Like protein probably appropriate post-exercise, but not at halftime. Come on. So that's a big no-no. And if you're currently doing that, please stop. You can do it after the event, but don't do it during. So that's the first thing. So the second part of this talk that we should be having is it appropriate to carb load in general? Here is the point. If you're an athlete performing at a high level, the answer is maybe yes. If you're not an athlete and you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to exercise for health reasons, you do not need to carb load. The only circumstance would be like if you're training for an event and you're not an athlete but you're going to participate in a very long event, you should make sure in the days leading up to the event that you have enough carbohydrates, or else you're going to become dehydrated and you're going to run low in energy during your event, and that could be an issue. Carbs help you stay well hydrated. So it would be much more difficult to stay hydrated in a long event if you didn't train properly and then you also were low carb. You got to watch out for that in people who are non-athletes. So my point in saying this is for athletes, yes, most likely for most, but you have to have medical supervision. You have to have a trainer or a naturopath or a medical doctor who helps you with the nutrition portion of your program to optimize your performance. And then for non-athletes, if you're trying to lose weight, absolutely not. The point here is to create a deficit, and lower carbohydrates, excuse me, not keto, but lower carb in general, facilitates weight loss. And of course, exercise helps you deplete your carbohydrate stores and gets you into fat burning mode quicker. So not carb loading, appropriate in weight loss. That's really, really important for me to mention. That's all I want to mention today is my experience with carb loading, what I went through, and how to optimize it for you. If you're for yourself, if you're an athlete, if you're a non-athlete, if you're training for an event, you can use this protocol as well once in a while. And if you want to have kind of a bang-up workout and perform better than you ever have, take some of these tips into account for pre-workout usage. But if you're trying to lose weight, absolutely not. Do not worry about it. Do not carb load. You don't need it. I hope that helps. If you like integrative health and wellness videos like this one, please subscribe to my channel and like this one, and you will see more. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk soon.